Everyone, I'm Lamont Gilchrist, www.lgfitnessmessiah.com is my webpage. Lamont Gilchrist, Pro Bodybuilder, LG Fitness Messiah. Like Lamont Gilchrist, Lifetime Natural Bodybuilder on YouTube. Got videos, Lamont Gilchrist, all caps on Instagrams. For some of you, this video will probably bore you. For others, they'll give you a little bit better explanation into training regimen, training style, exercises, and stuff like that. So bear with me. I want to start off by saying, when you are a beginner to this exercise game, and what I mean by beginner, in my program, you never pass the beginner state until you have proper form. So you can be a beginner for years, you know. You can stay a beginner until you understand proper form, proper technique, proper eye placement, proper thought process, how to approach, how to be safe, how to get inside the muscle, how to train the muscle. So beginner doesn't have anything to do with just starting exercising. You can be a beginner and been lifting for many years just because your understanding and your knowledge of how to perform and do particular things is not up to capacity. And you will continue to have a beginner's body and to get beginner's gains. Now, the great thing about being a beginner is beginner's gains. Beginners get the most biggest or the furthest jump most of the times in their exercise regimen as far as strength shooting up, productivity, understanding and knowledge expanding. So I tell beginners the beauty in being a beginner is that there is so much potential for growth ahead. The journey is so much broader and beautiful. You get to experience the whole journey and see the significant gains. People get to appreciate the gains with you because they get to see the transformation because it takes place because you started from nothing and now you're obtaining these wonderful goals. So embrace being a beginner. There's nothing wrong with being a beginner. I tell people all the time, oh, man, I don't mind. I wouldn't mind being a beginner because when you are an elite, top of the food chain, the gains are minute. The gains are so small that sometimes you're not even sure if it's just the mental toughness that you push through to make those gains or if, you know, a lot of times it becomes mental, spiritual. I mean, you're just in a whole nother universe with how it is that you make your gains. You're on a whole nother plane of existence when you're doing or performing great feats of strength and other things and stuff like that. You know, it's just like seeing someone lift off a car because somebody's in distress or panicking. Sometimes you just hit those things and your spiritual, mental, body, everything seems to come together at a point and you perform these amazing feats. So to my beginners, that's my one thing to the beginners. Beginners, I always say do the big three. And not really even the big three, but I say the big three. Deadlift, squats, and a pressing movement, be it bench press, shoulder press, incline, or whatever. And work on your form and breathing. Those are the compound movements that will probably give you the biggest gains. All the little leg extension, not incorporating big muscle groups, not incorporating full body posterior chain, core work and everything else while you're doing those big major muscle groups like that will slow down your progress. You know, beginners don't really need to spend time on doing flies and all the other stuff. You can do them just as a learning mechanism, just as something to add to the process of everything else that you're doing. Make sure you work your back because you release a whole bunch of growth hormones. You lose body fat, kick up your metabolism with the big muscle groups. Compound movements for beginners, and get the compound movements down with weights, and you'll see probably the most gains out of that. In between beginner and intermediate, just kind of depending on what you're doing. If you're an athlete, then you're going to be doing sports-specific movements, explosion and different things and stuff like that. Now, advanced athletes, or people who think they're advanced and maybe not so advanced at all, but seasoned, let's say seasoned people who've been training for a while. Sometimes, you'll see my videos, I got bands on, you'll see me doing different things, you see me doing suspension straps, you see me doing all different kinds of things. A lot of times I got to go backwards to go forward with my body, meaning that things that I've stopped doing because I got into certain movement patterns, like certain deadlift movement patterns, certain lift patterns, certain likes about lifting patterns because I feel like I'm stronger on making gains in a certain thing. I'll get stuck in those things and then I'll plateau because my body is very adaptive. Anytime I put my body into a bad situation, my body just adapt like, what's up? We got to do what we got to do in the situation. And that's what makes me, look the way that I look and able to perform at the things that I do, because my mind tackles whatever obstacle that is ahead of me, and it'll compute it and figure out a way with all my abilities and talents and everything else, especially in here doing a physical activity. It'll figure out a way to get that physical activity done. And so it'll start telling my body, okay, loosen up, you need to do this and everything else like that. That's what happens when you get to an elite level. So a lot of times, because my mind is so complex, I got to overload my mind and overload my body at the same time. So that's why you see me doing suspension stuff. You'll see me doing things that just really don't look all that challenging. But it is because it's not my normal pattern of movement of what I usually train in, as far as CrossFit, hang clean, squats, bench, incline, shoulder press, arms and stuff like that. Those things are beautiful and it will help me. But when I'm just lifting a weight, no matter how heavy the weight is, I'm only as strong as I am that particular day in a percentage. When I'm lifting with bands and other different things and apparatuses, doing different things and stuff like that, challenging, creating different angles, now I'm challenging my body in new dimensions and new planes that they may not have been challenged in before. Sorry about that. That's what I say for more advanced athletes. So then now you have to get into band training, like you might have seen my band video before. Different twists and supinate, pronate. You may even need to go and take a session from a experienced trainer to kind of come up with some different things. Then you can start talking about posture form, breathing. In the beginning stages of it, you should learn breathing, and you should learn mental mind placement and visualizing the movements, the technique, the weight going up, blasting through it. I'm going to give y'all probably a golden key that I give to my clients. And most people overlook it and skip it, and you'll forget it just as soon as I say it, because you have to ingrain it and you have to learn inside yourself. If you ever see a little kid, or you ever see somebody about to do something, you see somebody about to make a tackle or anything else, something that they know that they're about to put their body into a situation where it could be harmful or where they're perceiving harm to be, the first thing that you'll see and the first thing that you'll probably notice is that a person takes a deep breath. That deep breath is to impact, get everything lined up, to get the muscles, ligaments, and bones engaged to perform whatever it is. Same way if you're about to jump off a building, you're jumping out of a plane, making a tackle, about to shoot a basketball. Someone take it to calm it down and get your mind and get your body under control. Now that air and that breath is more than just air and breath. It's an energy source. Sometimes it's a stabilizer. Sometimes it's a calming mechanism. Sometimes it's a key. Look at golfers and everything else. You look at Buddhists and stuff to talk about breathing. Same thing in pushing your mind over the limit when you're lifting big weights. If you ever watch weightlifters and stuff like that, or just watch their videos, you'll see them take a deep breath. You'll see them hold the breath for a period of time. You'll see them manipulate, play with the breath. They'll take short breaths. They'll get their mind, they'll get their heart rate up, they'll get their blood pumping. Long distance runners, cyclists, people who are advanced, who count their breath strokes and their foot strikes. Sometimes I teach that in running and stuff like that. I understand the importance of this in lactic acid, but also from a physical, mental, spiritual, and everything else standpoint. You know, air is a major source of existing on this planet. Without it, we would be dead. And I really do mean that, underweights and stuff and things like that. So once you understand the breathing capacity, the different ways of breathing, the different breath strokes, how to keep lung in your ears, how to manipulate your diaphragm, how to extend your energy system through that, then you could take your training to another level and other stuff and things like that. And like I said, I teach a lot of those things in my program. So a lot of things is just sheer power, genetics, strength, but a lot of things is technical practice, time after time, mixing things up, training neurotransmitters, training receptors, training your neurological system, which tells your muscles to fire off or how many muscle groups to fire off at a particular time. So it can become very complex. So no matter what exercise program that you're putting together, try to take some of those things and incorporate some of those things into your training regimen and your training exercise, especially for you people who've been doing it for a while. And mix it up, you know, mix up your thought pattern, mix up, like people break habits, like people who eat, who have had eating habits. I ask them, well, what you do during the day? They tell me they have it. They say, well, when I get home, I'll go through the garage, I'll sit my key on the counter, I come in through that. You know, so I've suggested, after reading books and doing research and other stuff, well, when you get home, don't go through the garage. Even if you park in the garage, come out the front and go through the front door, which will break that pattern of sitting your keys down and going into the refrigerator. It at least gives you a second of being conscious of what it is that you're doing. So anytime that you can be conscious of your existence and where you're taking yourself, your body, or what you're pushing, and you switch up some particular patterns that your body is used to, your body will adapt, and the transformations will be prevalent in your body, but you'll feel the transformation. You know, gratification is beautiful. Humans love gratification. I do, everyone do. But if you cannot feel, see, and understand how to gratify or feel the accomplishments or the changes inside yourself as you grow on a day-to-day basis, it will be nearly impossible to set realistic goals and to reach realistic goals. Because if you're trying to please others and you're trying to get the response from others, then you're chasing, you know, an endless cycle of where even if you do accomplish what it is that you want to accomplish by pleasing those that you want to please, whenever that gratification disappears, depression and other things start to sit in. So you got to understand how to find gratification in the little bitty steps that you're making. And being patient. Patience is a virtue, like they said, is very true. I'm 43 years old. I've been doing this for a long time. I'm lifetime natural. If I had to go do it over again, I would do it the same way. And I know I'm kind of rambling right now because ain't too many people who's walking this earth say they look this way at my age, doing what I do at my age, and done it lifetime natural. That's gratification. That's, you know, awareness. That's me feeling good about what it is that I accomplished. And obviously I had to have some outside forces that kept me inside the lines because I've been tempted, like anyone's been tempted, to do a lot of different things in the same way I can make money or fame or all these other things. So being humble and being patient is a true prize and a joy and a strong weapon on a long journey or a lifetime journey or any transformation. My name is Lamont Gilchrist. I hope this helps. Thanks.